Dude, take us around the world of sports, man. And I do encourage you saving the best for last. That is my only suggestion.
Yeah, so around the world of sports is breaking down into 3 sports today. 3 sports that only matter around the world of sports before we hit football. 1, we got the NHL. Right now, I keep saying it. The fucking Rangers, man. Like, the Rangers. These guys just keep fucking winning. And I just noticed it yesterday. What's his name? Kreider?
Chris Kreider.
The motherfucker leads the NHL in goals.
Do you want to know who's second?
Who?
The Bread Man and Artemi Panarin.
Look at that. You got 2 Rangers lead, like 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. In fact, Panarin led the way for like 10 seconds, and then Chris Kreider was like, no, and took it right back.
And I'm pretty sure Kreider has the lead by a decent amount. I haven't checked it, but I think he has it by a few goals.
Yeah, he went off by a couple after he took the lead.
So as of right now, the Rangers are 28-11 and 4, and they're actually leading the Metropolitan Conference by 2 games?
Yes, I believe so.
2 games. Ahead of Pittsburgh. I like that. I like that sound. Ahead of the Penguins.
You know, I bought this hat recently at my brother-in-law's aquarium where he works. Got a little penguin on it, support penguins, and not the penguins, but support penguins. The first thing my fucking wife says to me, she looks at me and she goes, "Is that a Pittsburgh Penguins hat?" I'm like, all right, divorced.
Yeah, I would have burned it at that moment.
That's why I can't wear it anymore. It's a cute little penguin. It's a cute little penguin.
You know what's crazy about this too? The Rangers are doing so well, and the New York Islanders, who were doing so well last year, are only 14-14 and 6 on the bottom of the Metropolitan Conference.
I'm sorry to all my Islanders fans. You are a JV team. You will always be a JV team, and I don't care how far you go last season.
Like, was last season just a fluke for them?
Yes.
You said what you said.
I said what I said, yes.
On to the next, because it's getting better and better. Over to the NBA. We got a few things over here. Right now, the Lakers don't know what the hell's going on with Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I haven't followed along too deeply, but I've been seeing some stuff about that.
Yeah, right now, the top dogs of the organization gave Frank Vogel, the head coach, the willpower now to do what is necessary with Russell Westbrook. So before Russell Westbrook, everybody knows Russell Westbrook is an all-star, he's a superstar, triple-double, and all this, and he can put up crazy numbers. But everybody knows the man cannot shoot for the life of him. His field goal percentage is absolutely abysmal, like just like garbage. Like it's a debate between who shoots worse, him or Ben Simmons.
Wow, what a debate!
Yeah, and now with having such a stardom like Russell Westbrook, like they're legitimate starters. Like you're never gonna bench the guy. You'll let him work through all his slumps and shit like that. Right. Well, now it came down that Frank Vogel has the authority to do what is necessary with Russell Westbrook. And just the other day, in a crucial moment with 4 minutes left in the game, he benched Russell Westbrook for the rest of the game.
I saw that. And he backed it up by saying something to the effect of, I put in the guys I believe could win the game or something to that.
I mean,
what? I know that seems like such an innocuous statement, but what a fucking statement when you're talking about Russell fucking Westbrook.
I mean, it only makes sense on the Lakers. Like, Russell Westbrook needs the ball in his hand. He needs to be the primary person for the team, and he's not on the Lakers. And when you got a guy who goes out and has the ability to score and make plays like Russell Westbrook, but he goes out and he takes 25 shots and can only make 5 or 6 of them, like, that is horrible.
What's going on? Is he just not wanting to play? Is this just a big ass slump? Did like the Monstars come down and steal his basketball talent like they did in Space Jam? Like what's going on?
I honestly think that Russell Westbrook was never a good fit on the Lakers with that team.
That's
He
fair.
just doesn't fit that team. It doesn't work, and it's showing that it doesn't work.
I support that.
On to the next. Remember good old Jackson Hayes?
Yeah. By the way, how's Jackson doing? Sorry, Miss
Not
Jackson.
too well. Not too well. So remember last summer when he had the incident about the domestic abuse with his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now, and he had shit going on with the police and getting tased and all that?
Right.
Well, it comes out finally he is formally charged with 12 counts. He has domestic violence, resisting arrest, battery against a police officer. He got 3 counts of inflicting corporal injury to a spouse, 2 counts of domestic battery, one count of against battery against the officer, 1 count of false imprisonment, 3 counts of vandalism, 1 count of aggravated trespassing, and 1 count of resisting arrest.
Damn.
And as of right now, the Pelicans, since everything's been going on, the Pelicans have been 100% working with the law enforcement and with the NBA, trying to figure out the situation. Obviously, Jackson Hayes is not a superstar in the NBA, and he only averages about 10 minutes a game. So it's not like you're missing a key point of your team. I do believe you're not going to let him touch the floor for a little bit.
No, this is something they solve well before he comes back out on the floor again.
Yeah, it's not, and it's I pray and hope for Jackson Hayes that the big old weenie of the law don't drop on his head.
The big old weenie of the law. I gotta find some way. Everyone's talking about making NFTs. We need to make a breaking down the tape big old weenie of the law NFT. That needs to be a thing.
Yeah.
James is not on board. The first regular episode James comes into, and this is what he's got to deal with.
This is what we come into: is multi-million-dollar ideas, NFT weenies.
Yeah, and the weenies of the law. The weenies of the law.
Who's the anti-Semitic dude? Is he still in the NBA?
Who?
I can't think. Miles? No.
Every white basketball owner?
Yeah. But like a player this time. No, he was on the Heat.
Oh. I can't believe I know about this.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Myers Leonard.
Miles Leonard, right. He said some shit when he was like gaming, right? He was like gaming on
Twitch. He called someone, I'm not going to say the actual thing, but like I don't know how to actually spell it, but like a K Jewish offensive term.
Yeah. And then who was it? One of his peers was like, "Hey, bro, like no hate, but that shit's not cool. Let's sit down and talk." Fuck. This happened like a year ago, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, it was on his Twitch stream.
Yeah.
I thought he ended up in like Portland or something. I don't know.
Last thing to go on with the NBA is what's going on. Well, not the last thing, because I always got to touch my Knicks. But
the Knicks touch you.
We're going to the other side of New York, the side that's irrelevant, Brooklyn. It comes out that James Harden wants to test free agency. He is not happy with his living situation in Brooklyn. He's not happy with the way the fans invited them in. He's not happy with the way that Kyrie Irving is only a part-time player.
The grass isn't greener, James. Other James, Mr. Harden.
He's like, what did I do?
It's a your mom joke. It's bullshit.
We took James with our number 1 pick for breaking down a tape, and now James is like, I don't want to play for you. He pulled the Eli.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's like the key here for James Harden, right? Like you do all this shit to get off the Rockets, right? I can't win here. You're a fucking trash team. You come out in like a fat bodysuit to trick the team to thinking that you're like 400 pounds overweight. And then you go to Brooklyn and the grass sure is fucking greener. Did you expect nice fans out here in New York? Have you met a singular New Yorker ever?
Like, you think they're going to be happy when you're playing? I mean, granted, you're still winning and you're still up there in the top of the East, but you think they're happy when one of your big three only plays part-time? 2, you're not playing to your full potential because you should be winning more.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, none of the big 3 can be on the court together for a long period of time. KD's hurt, or James Harden's hurt, or Kyrie wants to talk about how the world is flat and he can't play.
Man, I don't know what I don't know what the fuck goes through that dude's head. I'm seriously in awe.
And look, people are gonna try to bash me like they like to do it on the glide. I'm not bashing Kyrie's fucking ability to play the game. The man has, and I've said it before, probably the one or the two greatest ball handling skills I have ever seen in my life. But it doesn't take into account that you're only playing half the seasons, half the games. I can put up all the stats I want if I'm refreshed and able to play only 50% of my games. Instead of playing a full season where it's gonna take a toll on your body and you're not gonna be able to sustain that kind of production for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm. And I will say I am critiquing his ability to rub two brain cells together and form intelligent thought. I am critiquing that specifically. Let me make that clear. is I am critiquing and wondering just how able he is. Is CTE a thing in basketball?
I don't know. I think it's a thing in every sport.
Kyrie Irving is like your racist uncle on Facebook as like a person. That's what Kyrie Irving is.
Granted, how old is he? And he looks like he's Uncle fucking Uncle Drew.
Right? Didn't he do that? Yeah, Uncle Drew.
He looked like all he did was have to dye his fucking hair.
Dude's like the Antonio Brown of the NBA. He was Antonio Brown before it was cool.
And oh my God, we'll hit Antonio Brown when we hit the NFL subjects. Got some shit on that motherfucker too.
Hector's rare to go today. This next conversation.
Yo, bro, no headshots today. Bow, bow. Headshots. Woo. Last but not least in the NBA, we got my Knicks. They lost last night to the Cleveland Cavaliers by 2 points. They're actually, if I'm correct, have the same record, which is shocking, as the Los Angeles Lakers.
Wow. Who does that say more about? The Lakers?
As of right now, they are actually a half game behind the Los Angeles Lakers.
Cavs are on a heater.
That's not that like people want to talk about how the Knicks haven't played to their potential of last year, but can we talk about how the Lakers are just shit in the bed?
Big time, big dookies.
You know, but on the good part, the Knicks are still in the running. They are fighting for a play-in spot because Toronto and Boston in their division also aren't playing that well and also playing 500 ball.
Not playing that well. We suck.
Huh?
There's no that well. We're ass.
So, a 1 or 2 game flip easily puts New York from the play-in spot to the 8th seed.
Hey, man, I'll take it.
Right now, Boston has the 8th seed.
Well, hopefully they can continue to play like ass, like James.
Well, at least we know Jason Tatum is going to play great. He dropped a 50-bomb locket the other day. And Marcus Smart is back for them.
He's getting traded.
Marcus Smart is back for them. On the Knicks side, Julius Randle needs to pick it the fuck up. RJ Barrett has actually been playing very well over the last few weeks and been more of the star than Julius Randle over the last few games. So keep your eye on Barrett, keeping that streak going of sustaining that productivity.
Right.
Quentin Grimes, a rookie, has been playing very well in the absence of Derrick Rose. Now, when Derrick Rose comes back, I think they're going to take some minutes away from him. But I like to see Grimes' gameplay in the time that he has, because I think he's going to have a bright future in the NBA. If not, it might not even be with the Knicks. They might end up, at some point in his career getting a trade or whatever. But I think Grimes is going to be a good player in the NBA.
Right on.
And here we go.
Just both feet, both hands, right into it.
We're shooting to the MLB, and I'm sorry. We're going to get into this real quick. So the MLB got into talks the last 2 days trying to figure out their whole lockout situation. All good and dandy. Keep talking. Right now, the MLB is open for some pre-arbitration pools where the top 30 players in arbitration are eligible for bonus money.
Right.
They're saying they're going to put 10 million into this pool. The players are arguing that they want about 105 million in the pool. So that's a big gap.
Yeah.
Big gap
A
still.
couple of dollars between friends. That's all.
A lot of zeros.
Yeah. Also, they want to increase the minimum salary for the first year players from 600,000 to 615, which is fucking nothing.
How the fuck do they have that range where they want to go from fucking 10 million to 105?
Because that's for your first year players.
But so the minimum first year salary is 600,000. The players want it bumped up to pretty much $750,000. But the MLB only wants to bump it up 15,000.
I see. So the MLB only wants an extra 15K. The players want an extra $150, $125. I see what you're saying.
Current minimum salary is $570,000, and they want up to $775,000. MLB's
there's enough money in baseball to go the fuck around, so why not? There's no reason to be arguing over this bullshit.
Yeah, it's like I said, they're arguing over money. That's literally all they're arguing. This is the stupidest lockout. This is like the war in Vietnam, a war that we should have never been involved in. This is a stupid lockout.
Taking all the shots, yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. I'm with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of stupid,
there it is. We were waiting.
The 401 members of this BBW fucking committee. I know it's BBWAA, whatever.
Wait, they settled on that?
BBW fucking committee. 401 people got this shit wrong. 401 people do not know baseball.
Mm-hmm.
When you look onto the Hall of Fame, when you go to Cooperstown in New York and you walk up to the Hall of Fame, it literally says, for the accomplishments on the field, not your character off the field, not the people you were fucking in the background, not what you did in high school, not what you ate for dinner, what you did on the field. Barry Bonds don't get in for 10 straight years. Now he's ineligible for the rest of his life. I think this December, a new committee gets cycled in. So there's a grace period where 16 people get to vote and try to correct any mistakes that any of the previous dumbasses did between 1987 and 2017.
So is the BBWs of America? Can we tag them in this episode? Am I able? Do we know if they have a Twitter handle? Because I'm definitely
we got you.
I got you.
So Barry Bonds don't get in. Roger Clemens don't get in. The home run leader doesn't get in, and a guy who struck out over 4,000 people and has 7 Cy Youngs doesn't get in. But you will put in only one person. And I'm not knocking this person, but I will knock this person. You are going to let in David Ortiz.
Love it when you call me Big Papa.
But not Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens. You're going to allow... So Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, you can't get in because you used steroids. Allegedly, because none of them got proven to be taking it. Allegedly. But you're going to accept David Ortiz, who was on the same motherfucking paperwork about allegedly taking steroids. And the stats prove it because when he was on the Minnesota Twins, he played like fucking garbage. Then he goes to the Red Sox and he has a great career for the rest of his career. So you say no to them and to Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire and all those guys because they use steroids. But yes to David Ortiz because you like the man.
It's pure emotion. Baseball writers don't have, again, they are the Kyrie Irvings of voters. I doubt that they have brain cells that they're actually able to grab and rub together to form critical thought. They are not logical people.
I saw some ridiculous, I didn't even want to comment on it. It was on Facebook. I seen a ridiculous comment. How David Ortiz is the most clutch hitter in postseason baseball.
Drugs.
That is ridiculous. That is absolutely
Derek Jeter never existed on this timeline. Derek Jeter's not a person. He's not real. Is that what we did? Spider-Man No Way Home bring us to an alternate timeline where there's
Reggie Jackson?
Yeah,
like Reggie Jackson, we don't even have to call Yankees out. Call anybody, because you know those people who you Yankee fans. We know a few of those. Call out any David Ortiz, the most clutch hitter in postseason history.
I feel like I'm missing the chance to bounce this to our resident Sox fan, James.
Hold on, I'm on BBW Twitter now. I still can't fuck the Writers Association. I found a lot of whatever is someone's personal piggy.
Okay,
That's in there. Someone's personal piggy.
So we got.
Okay. Do you want to weigh in on this?
We got Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds doesn't make it. He's a home run hitter, 7-time MVP. No other player has gotten more than 3, by the way. The only player to hit 500 home runs and 500 stolen bases, by the way, he doesn't get in. Roger Clemens doesn't get in. Sammy Sosa doesn't get in. Andy Pettitte, who also got put into the PED scandal type shit, doesn't get in. But yet, David Ortiz is the most clutch hitter in all of postseason, but you're not going to let in the pitcher who has the most innings pitched and wins in postseason history, in Andy Pettitte. He doesn't get in. Who also has 5 rings, 2 more than David Ortiz. He doesn't get in. Okay. Andrew Jones from the Braves. Andrew Jones doesn't get in. And he's 6 years. This is 5th year on the ballot. Andrew Jones, for 11 years on the Braves, while Smoltz, Glavine, and Maddox were fucking the 3-headed monster for that pitching rotation, he was center field, who won, I think, 7 out of 11 gold gloves, 6 or 7, something like that, out of 11 gold gloves playing outfield for them, who's hit 300, I think, almost all 11 years. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. This man has dominated Braves baseball for almost a decade, and he doesn't get in.
So
and he didn't even cheat. He didn't even use steroids.
I'm very interested to see how
Andy Martinez got into the Hall of Fame, but Andy Pettitte has a better WAR and ERA in the postseason, and he doesn't get in.
I've never wanted to hit you more for mentioning WAR. I have never wanted to swing on you more than mentioning. I hate WAR. I hate WAR.
You know my feeling about the WAR. But that's what they go on now. That's what they base this shit on now.
I know, it's fucking dumb.
I don't. I still think the Cooperstown is a cult. It's a club that anyone could pretty much get into if you are buddy and you dick suck some motherfuckers. And it will forever be like that. It will forever be like that. And guys like Bonds and Clemens and all these guys will never get in. You know why? Because there's still 2 men that should still, to this day, be in that fucking Hall of Fame.
Say it.
Shoeless Joe Jackson and Pete fucking Rose.
Yes!
So now, let's say it one more time. The home run leader doesn't get in. A pitcher who struck out, I think he's 2nd or 3rd all time behind Nolan Ryan in strikeouts, doesn't get in. And then the leader of hits all time. You got 3 all time, and they don't get in. And Pete Rose, he didn't cheat either. He bet it on himself.
Defend it, James, or take whatever stance you want. I don't care.
No, I'm with them. There's no argument against it. It's a club based on you being like good at baseball, and then on top of that, being like 90% of that is just how good you are at dealing with people's bullshit and like politics. But to look at this, and I mean, you're right, because David Ortiz is on that same list. Barry Bonds, legend. Even without the steroids, legend. Steroids made a good player a great player. So that's all it did for that. But to ignore Barry Bonds, to ignore Roger Clemens is just to wipe a bit of history and be like, I know there's like a million examples out there of just like, imagine a country, and I'm not going to say anything, but imagine a country saying like, yeah, this whole time period didn't fucking happen. We just moved ahead 40 years. That's what the baseball writers, the BBWs of America are doing. They're ignoring the fact that this existed. that the steroid era was an era in baseball. It was a fucking fun era at minimum.
Like, granted, if you go onto Cooperstown's website, they break it down into eras. The new game era, the steroid era, the blah, 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 and it goes down into whatever era they're in. And it shows you what players got in that era into the Hall of Fame. It's an era of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now. So you're not going to let any of these players in because of steroids. In this new era, are you going to let any of these pitchers in because of the sticky stuff they were using?
Same idea.
Because they shouldn't get in.
Mm-hmm.
None of them should get in.
And
Garrett Cole's number shouldn't count. Verlander's number shouldn't count. You know?
Yeah, no, you're right. And their only argument is that it's about the integrity of the game, but then they let people in like Ty Cobb, who fucking choked out some woman in center field. Like, the dude was a piece of shit.
Now, look at this shit right now. In 2009, a story reported that Ortiz was among 104 players who tested positive for PEDs during a round of testings in 2003. In 2016, Manfred said the tests were inconclusive because they couldn't distinguish what was legal and available over the counter and banned under the program. Now, check it. That right there, check it. In 2002 and 2003, when that list came out and it started naming all the motherfuckers that were using shit, the shit that they were using were never illegal or banned by baseball, which is why they were using it. Which is why A-Rod did what he did in 2002 and 2003 with the Rangers, because he was using back then. But it was legal. There was no rules against using it. But then years later, when you say, yeah, we should ban this substance, let's go back and punish the people that used it before. That doesn't, but it just so, like, it doesn't make fucking sense. You got, like I said, Bonds allegedly didn't get proven. Half the world's going to be like, yeah, he did it, but did it get proven in court? No.
True
so
that.
technically, innocent. Roger Clemens didn't get proven. Ortiz didn't get proven. Why is it one man gets in, but the other two don't?
And the last thing I'll say on this whole point, although I do have a story I learned about Roger Clemens, which weirds me out every time I think about it. Whenever I'm thinking of the Hall of Fame, I think there's like obviously exceptions to this argument. But in any Hall of Fame, you can't put someone in the Hall of Fame unless you cannot tell the story of that sport without them in it, right? How can you do that ignoring Barry Bonds, ignoring Maddox, ignoring or Andy Pettitte, sorry.
You can't say, oh, the home run record is 762 held by Barry Bonds.
Who's not in
put him in the Hall of Fame.
That's craziness.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the record's not 762 held by Barry Bonds.
Mm-hmm.
The record's still Hank Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't disagree with that.
History erases records as well.
The way I look at it in my closing statements on this, my personal feelings on this can be summed up in 3 words. Fuck Rob Manfred.
Yeah.
No, the best part was, this is the best part before I finish this up. The man himself that was commissioning the league back then turned the blind eye so that the players can use steroids to boost revenue and TV numbers and bring in money to the league, but then threw them all to the wolves so he could get enshrined to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
How the fuck is Bud Selig in the Hall of Fame?
That's another argument. Fuck Bud Selig.
Yeah.
No, I agree wholeheartedly.
I said what I said. This shit, the Hall of Fame is fucking bullshit.